Hello everyone, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another World War I Wednesday. I think this is 31, is it? I'm not sure. I should have looked before I started the video, but never mind, it doesn't matter. So, the last time we looked at this one was a few weeks ago now, and we got the elevators done, connected to the control column and everything, and that's all done. So we fitted the fin, as it were, and the rudder, so we're going to get those connected up now. And they also have the control lines going to the rear skid as well, so that'll be interesting. So we can see on the instructions here we have, this is line E and line E and line B going to the actual skid, and then we've got lines, which is this one, this is F and A going to the rudder. So the E and B are the inner side. Okay, so we've got these four cables, as it were, coming back from the rudder pedals. So what I'm going to do is turn this over. You've noticed we have a bit of peace at the moment. I think she's asleep. So is that was right, wasn't it? F. So as soon as I got this out, I picked it up, and as you can see I moved it, and you can see these bags dangling at the bottom. That was it. She was way after it. So you can imagine if she got all of this, that would be the Sopwith Camel over. So there we go. Let's get this bag open and get these lines out. There we go. So we've got, which one was it going to the, it's E going to the skid. So, and this is from this side, isn't it? These two are from this side. So we've got, to make sure they're not tangled up inside, make sure they're not crossed over. So we'll turn this over and just check to see what's going on here, and they're not crossed over. So this is probably going to be about as interesting as watching paint dry, guys. So which one's that? Is that the inner one or the outer one? This is that's the outer one there, I think. Yes. So it's the inner one we want. They're crossed over here somewhere. Let's get them untangled. There we go. They're not crossed over now. Yes, they are. Wow, this is difficult, especially when you're as blind as a bat like me. Okay, that one needs to go under there, and that one needs to go under there, and now they're not crossed over. So we've got E here. E isn't crossed over, it's not tangled up with anything. So what we're going to do, we're going to pass it. How does it go? It goes, you see, you have, let's keep this here, we have this diagram here as well, so you can look and you can see that it's staying inside all the way back. In fact, it's staying inside all the way back, and then it comes out and goes under there by the look of it. I can't see how that can work. We see here this line going back here. So it's this one here, it's going back. I'll come back in a second. Hang on. Okay, so we got it through. So basically it's underneath. What's happening here? I've managed to get it through the elevator. So it's going underneath. Well, it's actually the right way up is on top of, but it's there, and then it comes out beneath this one. And then what we're going to do is thread it through this hole here, which is going to be easier said than done. I'm probably going to have to go, oh no, we've got it through. We've got it through. Wow. And as you can see here, we have plenty of extra length, unlike we had with the elevators. So when you come to do your elevator strings, which are D1, D2, C1, C2, make them longer. These rudder ones can be a bit shorter actually. So that's that one there. And I'm just going to make sure it's not tangled up with anything else. And it isn't. We just look under here, make sure it's not tangled up anywhere at all. It looks okay. Wow, this is so uninteresting to film, but it's a major part of the build. So I think some of you will want to see it. I'm sorry if you're not interested. I think what I better do is get the other side as well. Okay, so we'll get, the other side was B, wasn't it? B was the one going to the tail skid, yeah. So I'll get this one out and then get it in. Okay, we've got these through here now. We've got them looped round as well, and just I've tied them together at the back to stop them coming back out. I'm sort of conscious that I want to do the rudder first, really, because I think it's more important that the rudder is central when the rudder is sort of neutral when the rudder pedals are sort of straight across. So I think we'll do the rudder first. Now looking here, these lines, where they go in, that's coming through there. It's on the inside. In fact, it's on the inside all the way back. Okay, so this one here is F. So we can take the tape off of there, get rid of that. So once again, we'll just make sure it's not tangled up anywhere. That loose one there is for the ailerons. So we'll get this through here without it tangling up with anything else. Remember, this is the outer one, so it's got to stay outside that one we've just put through. We've got some stickiness going on here because the because the tape was on there. Keeping this on the outside. There we go, and then it's going to go into there and through there. I should be using 2 pairs of tweezers, shouldn't I, really? So I think I've somehow managed to get that crossed over at some point. No, I haven't. Okay, so that is going to go that one's going to go through that hole there in the rudder. Here, I can't even see the hole, let alone get it through there. Blimey, I did get it through. This is more luck than judgment, guys, I can tell you. Okay, and then it's going to come through and get tied off. Yeah, it's going to come through here. Careful not to scratch the decal. You may remember from the earlier videos, I actually, as they suggest in the instructions, I put a drop of super glue on the ends. Well, I actually put the super glue on before I cut them. And that way it gives you a nice hard end. Ooh, misses. Gives you a nice hard end to push through. So I'm just going to repeat that on this side and get that one threaded through as well. Okay, so all threaded through now, nothing's tangled up, nothing's crossed over. These here I'm not worried about, they can go away over there, out the way. What I'm concerned about are these two here. So we're just having another quick double check, nothing's crossed over, nothing's tangled up, everything is nice and straight and everything's good. So as you can see, if you look at this line here, especially this one here, if you don't have some tension in them, they tend to not be very straight, because they came on that tightly wound cardboard thing, didn't they? So what we need to do is make sure they've got some tension, and they do have, this line does have a certain amount of elasticity. Not very much, it's not like easy line, but it does have a certain amount of elasticity. Now you can see that at the moment, well, you can't see because it's off camera, but if I get the rudder straight, we can see that we do have a little bit of a bias. So what I'm going to do is grab this line and pull it a bit tighter. Okay, so that when I get it taut, you just have a little bit of a turn. There we go, and then I can put enough tension on the other side that it will actually bring it back. So I'm just going to go out on a limb here, get a little drop of super glue. Okay, and I'm just going to put a drop of super glue on here. Alright. Notice again I'm using the clear stuff because I don't want it to soak up and wick up the up the string. So just hold that, let it dry. In fact, what I might do is quickly grab a drop of accelerator, actually. Just a tiny drop. Not to knock the bottle over. Just a tiny drop like that. And put the top back on. And that should be there nice and solid. Right. So now we can come to the other side. Grab this one. With our rudder straight, we want to pull. I don't know if you can see this. There you go. We're just going to, with our rudder straight, we're going to pull this so that our rudder pedal is perpendicular to the center line of the aircraft. That's the correct terminology. So when the rudder's straight, we want the rudder pedals to be straight too. So I still need a bit more tension on this side. There we go, I think that's good enough, guys. So I think what we'll do is grab a drop of super glue. Stick it on there. And then just a drop of accelerator. Just hold that so it goes off. And there we go, we have our rudder pedals being operated by the rudder. That's the wrong way around, obviously. So there we go, that's that done. Happy with that. Now we need to connect these, well not connect them, but get these tail skid ones sorted out. And get them so that, what's going on here? We need to make sure the rudder remains neutral and that we're not biasing it, and then get some tension in these lines. I don't like the way that's going there. I think what I'll do here is just cut this line rather than try and untie it. That's looped around the wrong way, I think. or is it? Put that down through there. Grab it and pull it out. That's better. Right. So we'll grab this one and pass that underneath there, like so. Come on, go through. Right. So all we need to do is make sure the tail skid is central. We've got a little bit of backlash in there. Grab a drop of super glue. Oh no, I'm glad I didn't glue that. Look, it's hooked around there, look. And I've let it go. God, blimey, this is awkward. So I'm going to grab a drop of glue. Onto there. I've actually got some VMS debonder now, which was kindly sent to me by Rob over at Brooks Models. Well, I think of it, Brooks Models, it's brooksmodels.com. Unless you don't already know, NMB10 will get you 10% off between £15 and £50, and over £50, NMB20 will get you 20% off. And he is also, go and take a look at the website, because he is starting to get some pre-orders in on some lovely kits that I've reviewed recently. So go take a look at the website, because remember, you can get 20% off using my code. Just put a drop of glue on there. Yeah, and one of the kits he's getting in, which I also have on the way, is the Verifier Yamato in 1/350th scale, the deluxe edition, with all the resin and all the photo etch and everything. So you can get 20% off of that there. So worth having. So when we move our rudder pedals, now when we move the fin, the tail skid should go with it, but it doesn't because it's quite stiff. Now for some reason it has no movement on there whatsoever. So it's moving the fin, as you can see, but it's not moving the tail skid. Probably because I don't have enough tension in the lines. Yeah, I could have put a bit more tension in those lines, I think. But the trouble is there, when you start adding tension, everything's constantly under stress. So I think I'd probably not have the tail skid work. I don't think the rudder pedals have the required leverage, to be honest. Because you've got hardly any leverage here, you've got hardly any leverage there. And of course, the tighter you put the lines, the more load you put on the bearings. So yeah, there's no leverage. If you look at the rudder pedals up here, you know, there's your pivot, and those two centre lines are what's doing the tail skid. So I think we'll just have that non-working, if you like. I mean, you can see that it's, I can actually make it move, but I don't want to go putting loads of tension and everything, because that's when things, you know, over time they break. Right, so we've got to trim these off now and then see what comes next. Just looking at this, guys, if there's any pilots out there, if you can let me know. This looks the wrong way round to me. It looks like, you know, when the rudder pedals go that way, you would think that was going to the left. But it's not, it's going to the right. Is that it just seems ass backwards to me. I've only ever flown a plane once or twice. I don't think I ever used the rudder. But, just seems ass backwards. Let me know in the comments, please. There we go. Right, I need to get these trimmed off, don't I? And then I'll be back. Alright, so if you remember back in the instructions back here in step 8, they asked us to fit this part here, these two parts, G19, G36. These are the air intakes. But I wanted to, they tell you to paint this black. I wanted to paint it silver because all the pictures I've seen, they're actually aluminium tubing. So I painted them silver, gave them a coat of, I think that's Alclad on there. But anyway, so that's a nice aluminium colour. So you can actually assemble it first, paint it all, and then get it in on its own, or when it's actually assembled. So we're going from the side here. That lower tube, I've just done this off camera to check it can be done, and I did it in about 3 minutes. That lower tube there has got to go through the hole in there. That's gone through, and then I'm going to grab my other tweezers which have a wider end on them, and then what I'm going to do is get this positioned. Oh dear, I knew this would go wrong. As soon as I put the camera on, it all goes tits up. So we're going to put that one up there. We're going to get this one, I don't know if you can even bloody see what I'm doing, but that's going to come into the fuselage and up on the top like that. You can see we've got that one sat there now. Okay, and then that one is sat there. So they're both of the ends you can see are roughly in position. There's that one there and that one there. So give that one a nudge down onto its peg. Give that one a nudge down onto its peg, and as you can see, that's happily home. And then just push the bottom up there so it's central in that tube. And that's the air intake for the engine. So that'll go into the carburettor. We've also got a couple of tubes that are going to come out the sides there as well. So what we need to do now, and I'm not even sure it needs gluing, but I'm going to grab a drop of extra thin and put it in the bottom there, and another drop in there. So there we go. So that's in like that. Right. Now we've got we've got this oil tank to go on the back of this plate here. This plate still isn't glued in place. It's just temporarily attached with tape. And we've got these. This is the cartridge chutes that are going to come out the sides. I've got that assembled. Oh, by the way, guys, here are some Aviattic sample decals. So we'll try these out as well. Water slide decal paper. Richard from Aviattic assures me these things are amazing. But what I've got to do first is paint the instrument panel. You never put decals on bare plastic. So we're going to paint the instrument panel first, and then we'll get some decals on there. Here is the, and I have painted it. I didn't think I had, but that's painted. So that's done. And that is going to fit into those holes in there. Like so. We'll just check the fit and then we'll do some paint scraping and gluing. Yeah, it kind of fits. It's going to be a little bit awkward to put it in without messing things up. So I think we'll take this tape off of here and remove these. Come on, out you come. Right, I've got that one off of there. Oh, come here. Sorry guys, I don't want to turn the camera off because it's just another editing point then. Blimey. Trouble with this model, it's so, you'd think it was quite weighty, but it's so bloody light. You can't grab anything because there's no... At last, blimey. You can't grab anything because you can't push against anything. There's nothing to push against. It's just so weightless. Right, so I think what we'll do is grab a sanding stick and just take some paint off the end of here, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to put a drop of extra thin in these holes. It'll probably be dry before I get anywhere near it with the plastic. Drop in there, another drop in there, just quickly go over them again. And then we'll slide this through here and push the bottom pins in and then roll the top up and give it a squeeze. Yeah, it doesn't want to stay in there. So hopefully that'll stay there. I'm not 100% sure it's actually going in properly. So hopefully, as I say, that'll stay there, but I'm not convinced it will. I'm just going to try just to get another drop of glue underneath. If it does leave any marks, they won't be obvious. Once we've got the engine and everything, you're not going to see this area here. Okay, there we are. And that instrument panel is going to sit in there like that as well. So I need to go and get the instrument panel painted and let it dry. And I don't think we're going to have any time to do anything more. I'm afraid this has been a very short video, hasn't it? Because once again I've left this to the last minute. It's currently Wednesday afternoon. It's, what is it now? 3:20. So what I need to do is get myself back on track, because I used to be like a week ahead, but since the arrival of Dottie, all that's gone out the window. So what I need to do is get myself back on track. So what I need to do now is get this painted. What else have we got in here? We need to get this tank painted, and we need to get this tank here repainted. Obviously found some marks I didn't like. I've also got the cap on there now. So that all needs to be done, and then we can get on with the assembly. I'm kind of a bit concerned that's not going to stay there, but hey ho, if it comes out, doesn't it? At the end of the day, it's not a working model, so we don't worry about it too much. So yeah, I'm going to get this stuff painted. I think I'll also get these two bits here painted as well. It's saying black. I'll check. I think they probably are black, because it seems that all of the steel on here is all painted black. So yeah, here we go. Look at that. We got our elevator being moved by the stick, and we can use our rudder pedals to steer. Brilliant. Right, happy with that. As I say, we're going to try these out. Richard assures me they're absolutely brilliant. We shall see how well they go down. He doesn't recommend using any decal setting agents either. And also the other day I was watching something from Panzermeister 36, and he never uses micro set. He only ever uses micro sole under and on top of the decal. So I'm going to have to give that a go, because In my experience, as you probably know, lads, with a lot of the models I've done lately, I've found that the micro set has made the decal go down and stick like the proverbial to a blanket, and then you can't move it around. So we shall have to see. So we get those bits of tape off of there. We only had that fitted to keep everything square at the front, so we don't need it there now, but it's at the point where it's going to get glued in anyway, pretty much. So we're actually probably ready to glue it on. Oh no, we've got to put that tank on. That tank's going to go onto there like that, on those 3 pins, before we fit this in. So we'll have to get that done. So that can go away in its takeaway box, and I've got to do some painting. So sorry it's been a short one and probably extremely boring to watch, but it is what it is, guys. I'm sorry. I've got to do some filling and sanding work on here as well, so I'll get all that done off camera, and then I'll come back next week and we'll get these bits fitted and we'll have a play with that decal, and I will do it live on camera. I won't do any pre-practices or anything, so you can see how good they are or how bad they are. But Richard assures me they're very, very good. And if they are very, very bad, I won't film it. I will just tell you I couldn't get on with them. But we shall see. I'm sure they'll be absolutely brilliant. I know that I've seen his decals on some other aircraft, and they are bloody lovely. And I'm going to see his little setup soon, so hopefully that'll be a video worth watching. So go and see how Richard at Aviattic does his day's work, does his stuff, does his things. Right. See you next week, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.